it has been a summer of discontent for the federal Liberal Party with low polling numbers, the end of their supply and confidence agreement with the NDP, and their national campaign director resigning last week. Well, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be in BC today to meet with his caucus. They're gathering in Nanaimo for the start of their 3-day summer caucus meeting. So for more, we have Stewart Prest with us this morning, a political scientist at the University of British Columbia. Stewart, hi there. Good morning.
Morning, Gloria.
Interesting times for the federal Liberals. This is the first time the caucus has met since the disastrous Toronto-St. Paul by-election last spring. How would you describe the mood for the party right now?
I think the mood is tense. I would expect many MPs are disheartened and looking for some direction about where the party is going. We know that there were calls just after that by-election in Toronto, after that really crushing loss for the Liberals to have a caucus meeting for Mr. Trudeau to meet with MPs. We know one MP even called for him to step down, Wayne Long, but we didn't have the meeting, and we certainly haven't seen Mr. Trudeau indicate that he's ready to step down. So here we are, and I think MPs will have some pointed questions looking for what the plan is going forward.
Yeah, it's been interesting just watching that. You know, the calls for the Prime Minister to step down. To how much importance do you think that's going to be given over the next few days?
Well, it seems like Mr. Trudeau was able to ride out the most acute criticism. We heard folks from outside the party caucus calling for him to step aside as well. But when we didn't have any additional voices from within the House, essentially within the caucus, joining Mr. Long, that really, I think, gave Mr. Trudeau the permission to take some time to let everything cool off and now to come forward with a plan. I don't think there is that hardcore president willing to put their names out there publicly saying it's time for Mr. Trudeau to step aside. So he gets, it seems like, one more kick at the can with this group.
Right. And then the big twist last week, the end of the supply and confidence agreement with the federal NDP. How would you say that changes the situation for the Liberals?
Well, I think it just one more body blow for the government. They are probably reeling still from that because it was unexpected. Apparently, it was the party received notification just an hour before the actual announcement, so there was no planning possible. And then to have that new vulnerability, that new possibility of a snap election looming if the opposition parties band together at the same time as the party's national campaign director Jeremy Broadhurst is stepping aside. This is a party that's quite simply reeling at the moment and needs to show that they have some way to get their feet underneath them and can actually start to gain traction with voters once again.
Well, and we saw Liberal MP Wayne Long as the first MP to publicly call on Trudeau to resign after that by-election we were talking about off the top there. He said he does not plan to be at this caucus meeting. So what does that tell you, I guess, about the overall party cohesion right now?
I think it tells you that it's not great. That's something we may see other MPs start to engage in rather than pushing and fighting to push the prime minister aside. People might just simply shrug and quiet quit, as it were, and find ways to start to back away from this project. And so Mr. Broadhurst's resignation falls into that category as well. I think not a quiet quitting, that was just quitting, but other MPs may announce that they're not seeking re-election, and so we may just see this Liberal Party continue to limp on if we don't have some significant change in direction. And it really seems that Mr. Trudeau is not that voice for that change with many Canadians. And so absent a change at the top, it's hard to imagine a new dynamic emerging.
Does the name Mark Carney signal change or enough change for enough people? Because we know the former Bank of Canada governor is scheduled to appear at the caucus, speak to the caucus. His name has been dropped numerous times as a potential successor. What do you see there? I mean, how strong would his candidacy be?
I think without the vocal support of members of caucus to this point, saying it's time for that change, I think it's difficult for Mr. Carney to sail in and bring about a change or orchestrate one. This is not like the Liberal Party of the early 2000s, where we had Mr. Martin waiting in the wings and essentially orchestrating the downfall of Prime Minister Chrétien. This is Mr. Trudeau's party. So many people who are here in that party are here because of Mr. Trudeau, because he was such a good campaigner. He was able to bring the Liberals back from the brink in that 2015 election. And so I think until Mr. Trudeau decides that he is ready to go, or there is a mass uprising of MPs still willing to fight and willing to fight for someone like Mark Carney to take the lead, I don't think that dynamic is set to change right now.
Stewart, you've given us lots to watch out for. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
That's Stewart Prest, a political scientist at the University of British Columbia. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his Liberal caucus are meeting in Nanaimo this week.